The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back following the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals. That's right, baby. We are off and running. NHRA 2025 is rolling. We're headed to Arizona next, then to Pomona. It's going to be great. The Gatornationals. It was tough. Look, it was tough. We fought rain. We fought the electricity. We fought all kinds of issues, but we gutted it out. We gritted it out, and we made it. And most importantly, the fans of NHRA Drag Racing in Gainesville threw down the marker, and they said, we are definitely the most diehard fans, certainly willing to get there early, stay late, sit in the rain, not give up our spot, sit in the silence of a power outage where we were unable to communicate with them. Who knows what caused that? We're going to get into all of that on this show. Guys, we got Chad Green. Chad Green wins the race, second win. But to me, for Play NHRA, it was a seminal moment. I don't know for certain that he was the longest long shot to ever pay out in the Play NHRA era. But the way I got it, he was 29-1. 29-1. So if you had put $10 down, you'd have won $290. If you put $100 down, you would have won. You get it. If you put $1, you get it. But that's a big deal. It's not always going to be Austin Prock that wins the race, Gaige Herrera, Antron Brown. The favorite doesn't always come in, and Chad Green showed that. It's going to be great. Chad is going to be up first. We've also got Dallas Glenn. Dallas going to be on the show. We're going to talk about him beating Greg Anderson in the final round. Greg, who set the world record for pro stock. Now we're on the other side of the half decade. You know what I mean? 45 to 44. We're closer to 39 than we are to 50 with the world record for pro stock. That's a big deal. And Gaige Herrera and Matt Smith in the final round. Very entertaining. They waited for Matt to fix the bike, snap in the battery, I think it was. But we're going to get into all that. We're going to take your comments. We're going to address all the issues. Before we get to Chad, though, I do want to say something about our friends at the Texas Motorplex. They are family, and they lost one of the family this past weekend. TJ Bailey. If you go to the Motorplex, you'll see in a website or Facebook page, you will see an unbelievable tribute. And they were hit by tornadoes this past weekend. TJ was on the site, and it's just a terrible tragedy. So when you have a moment, just send some thoughts, positive thoughts, prayers to TJ and his family and the folks at the Motorplex. Just a very, very tough and random situation. Terrible way to start the season. Terrible. They've had a tough go of it over the past 6 months, personnel and family wise. And so we're thinking about Christy and Barry and Billy and everybody over there. It's really tough. It's really tough. We're out there at the races having a good time, and then news comes over, and it's tough. But we appreciate those guys, and we'll be there later on this year for the Stampede of Speed. All right, let's bring it back up. Let's bring on our funny car winner. He got the job done out there at the Gatornationals. Biggest win of his career. This guy only wins the big ones. Chad Green. Chad, welcome to WFO Radio. How are you?
I'm doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Thrilled to have you on the show. This was a huge win. Now you've got 2 of the crown jewel races already. You've got the finals and you've got the Gatornationals. If you win, the U.S. Nationals, you could pretty much walk away from the sport saying you've won all the big ones.
Yeah. No, it's really exciting times for us right now. I've won the first one and I've won the last one. Now we just need to go get some in the middle.
So how did this? Let's go back to the decision to expand the team, to move the team, that's huge. That's a big decision. You could have been, in your comfort zone there, and you decided to go out on your own. And walk us through the process, partnering with Blake. Hunter's going to drive. It was a very busy offseason.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting offseason for us. Having two teams has been a goal of ours for a long time. And, we didn't really know how we was going to ever make it happen or how it would happen. But we started talking about this deal, towards the end of last year with Blake and putting together a second team. And fortunately, Blake had enough funding that he could bring with him as a driver that it would, justify me being able to go out and put together this second team and allow my son Hunter to make, drive a few races. So it's really exciting times. Everything's gone really great for us. I couldn't ask for anything more from our guys, our new crew that we hired, who went out there. We put together an outstanding crew for the second team. I'm just so excited to see them run this year. This race for that team was more just like a test session. We wasn't even supposed to be there. So to even get the car ready and get it there and be able to make a few runs down the track before we really take it to Phoenix and get serious with it, that was huge for us. But this has been exciting times. I know there's probably a lot of people when they heard about us doing this and moving out. I've been renting a space in Wilkinson's shop for, the last few years and pretty much kind of operating under his wing. And then, unfortunately I lost Daniel, my crew chief, a year ago to be a driver. And that's the point where my guys on the team really had to step up. And we kind of was pretty much on our own last year, even though I was still renting space in Tim's shop, and they were there to help us, of course. But, my guys have really taken ownership in this deal, and to go out there and get the win at the first race, the Gatornationals, it's just huge for us as a team, as a momentum builder. Yeah, everything.
And you got that Golden Gator right there. Can you bring the Golden Gator a little closer? Because he is awesome. That's one of the great secondary trophies in the world of NHRA drag racing. Of course, everybody wants the Wally, and the Wally is amazing. But I think now many of the tracks, including Gainesville Raceway and the NHRA, realize that something extra that makes it a little different other than the placard on the Wally is coveted. And the Golden Gator, look at that guy. He is awesome.
This guy's awesome. And I'd actually, racing at the Gatornationals this weekend, I wasn't really thinking much about winning the race. We're just out there trying to go one round at a time. And when we won the race, I got to the top end and I saw this guy sitting there with the Wally. I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is this?
How cool is this? Well, I think you've shown you got to be all in, though, right? You got to be all in. You raced in Pro Mod for years, and there are a lot of teams, and I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying that the competition you're racing against is all in on this. It's a 100% effort, and you've gone all in with your own team, with your own spot, with your own crew guys, and it's paying off early.
Yeah, we're definitely all in, Joe. I mean, I'm that type of guy. I've been all in, and a lot of people may not know me too well, but we are definitely all in. We're serious. We're there to win, and when we go put together the second team, it's just to help us grow. We each and every year we want to grow as a team, get better, get more professional, and that's what we're trying to do.
Very good. You're getting a lot of congratulations out there. People checking in, saying congratulations about this big win. And I certainly appreciate it. Great race. Congrats to Chad. Everybody out there shouting out to Chad. Great job. What do you think of that 29-1 deal? I can't certify you're the longest long shot. We'd have to get Kevin McKenna, who probably keeps track of that, to certify. But if I was placing a wager on anything and I got plus 2,900 and I hit, I'd be a happy guy.
Yeah, I'm hoping some people bet on me last weekend and won some good money off of that. And hopefully, going into Phoenix, so those odds may not be as good for a long shot. Hopefully, they'll look at us a little more serious.
Well, exactly. And it's drag racing, right? Like Antron won. He was the favorite. Dallas was a favorite, not the favorite. And Gaige was the favorite. But you shook it up and showed that dark horse can get out there and win. Let's talk about your round by round, starting with first round against Paul Lee. He was the higher qualified car, but we had really lost a whole day of qualifying. Saturday was tough. It was one of those grind it out kind of events. It's amazing that we got it in, but Paul went up in smoke at the hit, some sort of malfunction, and you guys were able to get down. And it looked like, it looked like the car was very stable in that first round run. Yeah, we was actually, to be honest, Joe, I feel really fortunate that we was even able to get qualified, because we only made one qualifying run, which wasn't even a full run down the track in Q1. We got down there and it started spinning the tires. And so I think we ran like a 4:14 or something like that in Q1. We got up there for Q2 and our oil pump broke during the burnout. So we had to shut the car off on the starting line. So, yeah, I mean, going into E1 on Sunday, we had really struggled with our car. We wasn't going in like feeling, like we're ready to go, so confident. And, we got this car where we want it to be. So that first run against Paul Lee was actually huge for us. I mean, that was a very good run at those times and the conditions. And I think, it may have been low of the round, I'm not sure, but it was a very strong run. And it really gave us confidence to move forward throughout the day. And, round two came around. After round two, we had even more drama. Well, exactly. And let's skip ahead. Buddy Hull gets to the second round for only the second time in his career, gave you a bit of a race, but you were 78, ran 4:10. But it was then that it happened, right? The drama. This is what we all want. We want to see. I was watching the coverage today and seeing the thrash coverage in the pits, you guys dealing with it, seeing you guys coming down the staging lanes at full speed, trying to get around Alexis. That was crazy. There was a lot going on in her pit also. Walk us through what happened, Chad, because, you're right in the middle of it, right? So you got the best story. Lay it out for us. And I could tell you that Joe Serena, the emotion that he carried throughout the day in the interviews, Dean Marinas as well, just tremendous. Dean almost trucked me on the starting line. I had to stop him. It was something. But tell us a little bit about the thrash and how it all came together. So that second round we ran against Buddy and the car. We was just trying to just get it down the track and ended up putting holes out. And in the shutdown, it threw actually all 8 rods out of the motor. We had a small fire go on in the car, so. Got the car back to the pits. We kind of had to make an unplanned complete motor swap. We had a little bit of mess from fire we were having to clean up. It's just, a bunch of little stuff that you wouldn't normally have to do. And on top of that, I think the NHRA, they're really pushing us because of the weather deal. We didn't start till 2:00 because it's been raining all day. So it's just a really high pressure situation. I had to get strapped in, jump in the car in the pits. And I think we was going about 70 miles an hour through the pits, trying to make it up there. And luckily we did it. And luckily, we got some great opponents out there, TSR, Hagen, that whole group, they sit and wait on us. I don't know how long they had to wait, but hats off to those guys for that. Yeah. On that note. Right. And I think the shoe has been on the other foot in the past, and hopefully everyone out there will wait. We saw Vance and Hines wait a little bit for Matt Smith. Nobody wants to see somebody fire up early and take a competition single because their opponent was struggling to get there. That's the kind of thing that comes back on you. It's like racers etiquette or code, if you will. Exactly. I think, speaking for me and for all the other drivers out there, we would all do that for each other because we've all been in that situation. We know what it's like. And nobody wants to win like that. Yeah, nobody wants to win like that. So you are able to advance then to the semifinals or to the final round where you're going to have Ron Capps. Ron Capps, who got there through Alexis, who had her own thrash story. And Capps have been running real well. And I think if we were doing up to the minute final round odds, you would have also been a bit of a dark horse. But it was then that it happened. 392 won, 329, 76 on the light. Doesn't get better than that as far as the stat sheet go. And you got the job done in the final. Yeah. And let me just back up for a second to the semifinal. I think for us, really, that was the biggest run of the day. I didn't really go into it a minute ago, but, after that big old thrash and getting up there to the line, we laid down a 392, and that was really a monster run for us at the time.
I think it was, again, low of the round and gave us lane choice against caps, which was huge for us.
Yeah, well, exactly. Lane choice. Let's take a second before we talk about the final round and talk a little bit about the track. It looked kind of naked from the drone shot, but a few years ago, we had a similar situation. It looked a little more naked. People were getting down the track. Brian Karate had said, early in the morning, we were trying to start at 9:30. We were racing Mother Nature. It was going to rain. We were going to wash out the whole event. What would we have done? How would we have figured this all out? So they were trying to get it in. And once they, worked on the track, it looked like it was there.
Well, it was okay. Obviously, I mean, some people still struggled here and there, but, it wasn't the greatest track in the world, but, that's what race is all about. We all had to deal with the same thing. And like, I can't remember second or third round, Dean was telling me there's like, one little small groove of track there that the car had to just go right down through there. So it is really key, keeping the car in the middle of the track, keeping the car in the groove. I mean, if you just let it get out just a little bit, that's where the track wasn't so great. And, the car just starts spinning the tires.
Got to keep it in the groove. It's just that simple. And, when we talk Top Fuel a little bit later, we're going to have Antron on hopefully in the future. It was a very tough deal with Trip Tatum, obviously. But in the end, you win in funny car. You mentioned Dean. I mentioned Joe. Tremendous emotion on the starting line. I would like for you to talk about those guys. I know we spoke about it in the media center, but kind of out of nowhere, right? Like this is how it's supposed to work, where a guy like Joe, who learned under Tim Wilkerson, gets elevated, and a guy like Dean, who is, what's the deal, Chad? Is this guy a genius or something, right? He's like real cool, calm, and collected, but clearly he's got like the fastest nitrous car we've seen, and he's a really smart cookie, and he figured out this nitro thing pretty quick.
Yeah, he did. Let me tell you, I never had any doubts about Dean. Dean is one of the smartest guys in drag racing. A lot of people that know Dean know that. And, 6 years ago when I asked him to come with me and come on this nitro funny car, he was very hesitant. Dean he's a door car guy, but I tell you couldn't rip him away from it now. He loves it. And he's really, like I said, he's one of the smartest guys in drag racing. I knew just give this guy a few years and he'll get it figured out. And having Joe there, Joe's been with me from the beginning as well. When I was first getting my license in Tim's car back in 2017, 18, Joe was there with me. And some other guys that are on my team now were there with me then too. So a lot of these guys have been around me, stuck with me. I mean, we've got a good core group of guys, and that's key. I mean, you can't just be going out there switching around all the time. That's not my philosophy. And we're growing together as a team, and you got to have these new young guys in the sport. You can't just have the same crew chiefs for years and years. We got to have new guys we're bringing up in the sport, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're trying to do with our second team as well with Matt Bynum. We think he's a sharp young guy, and I think he's going to do well.
All right. So what can we expect out of this team for the rest of the year, right? You've won the first race. You're on the board. There's that regular season points champion fund that is going to be a big deal. Do you feel like you're a championship contender? I know it's a long way away, but that stuff starts early. The contenders show themselves early, and you showed yourself to be very successful right here in the first race.
Well, definitely. We want to think of ourselves as championship contenders. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. We're here to win. I've always said, my whole racing career, that it's so important to start off the very first race and do well. I mean, you need to, in my mind, you need to be making it to the semis at least in the very first race, or you're behind the eight ball, already right off the get-go. So to be able to start out after the first race in the number one position, leader in the points, that's a huge advantage to us. It's a huge morale boost to my team. And, you could go back and look at our performance on Sunday. We had the fastest car, I think 3 out of the 4 rounds. So, I mean, it wasn't luck. So we're here, we're pushing, and we're going to try and get better.
Now, I know you're a very competitive individual. Some of the conversations we've had about reaction times in races, we made you the marquee matchup a couple of times last year, and you've wanted to show it, and now you're showing it. And I think it's going to be very exciting. People are looking for someone new to root for. Why is Chad Green the guy? Why do you think, like, if you're a casual fan who doesn't know anything about it, and you're like, man, this Texan, he's got a little swagger. Why should they root for you, Chad?
I don't really know. I really can't tell people why they should root for me. They need to decide that by themselves. But I tell you, I've already got a lot of great fans out there. I love the support. I love racing in Gainesville. You mentioned it at the start of the show. Let me tell you, the fans in Gainesville are the best. I mean, they pack that place out every year, and this year was no exception. Even with the rain, having to wait around all day. I mean, they had to wait around all day. Didn't even know if we was going to get to race. And by the time we started racing at 2:00, those stands were packed. And we had huge support there, like we do every year. And I've got great fans, and hopefully we'll pick up more.
All right, final question. One of your funny car brethren, Bob Tasca, gave up a winter interview to instead address a topic that has been hot throughout the winter break and the Super Bowl, when an advertisement for IndyCar on Fox suggested that they are the fastest motorsport. And so the drag racing fans kind of got rankled a little bit, but I felt like we're just, resigning themselves to taking the beating like normal. And then Tasca stands up and says, no, calls out, Fox Sports and IndyCar for, it's just factually inaccurate. And it's funny because some people are attacking Tasca for saying something and going against Fox. Some people are saying other things. What did you think of that moment? And, address the issue a little bit. As someone who goes 330 miles an hour, who accelerates to that in 1,000 feet, Indy cars go 2.5 miles. They don't go that fast. Where does Chad Green stand on this issue?
Well, kudos to Bob Tasca. I have no problem with him saying that. I think it's good that somebody stood up and said that. And hey, thank you, Bob, for standing up for a voice for us, all the racers, all the fans. I have no problem with it. I mean, we're not trying to trash IndyCar racing. I love IndyCar racing. IndyCar racing is badass, but, like you said, it's just factual. I mean, when you want to talk about the fastest motorsports on earth, we're it right here. And, just give us a due respect to that.
That's it. Simple as that. And, like the land speed guys, they want to get in on it, right? Like we get mad at IndyCar, they get mad at us. So it's like, wait, guys, wait. IndyCar's the one making the claim. We're just minding our own business, sitting here with a whole bunch of cars that go over 280 miles an hour. And so what I like to say is, side-by-side racing. Certainly the fastest side-by-side racing. IndyCars or land speed cars go out solo. Great respect to land speed. I had a little back and forth with Brett Kepner the other day. He misunderstood me. It's not about land speed. Nobody's talking about land speed. We love that stuff. We great respect. Jason Lyon's over there. Wayne Jessel's over there. Jack Lyon is over there. Everybody's over there. They love it. It's great if you can go there. But as I understand it, they are not like side by side passing each other, battling each other on the same track at the same time, like IndyCar is, like Formula One is, like NASCAR is, like drag racing is. We are the fastest. 300 is greater than 200. It's just facts. And I love the fact that Tasca did it on behalf of the sport. Like, we need more people to stand up on behalf of the sport. Great job. Chad, thank you for making the time. I know you're super busy. Bond coat. Back to business, of course. We'll see you in Arizona. Keep it going, my friend. I am so excited for you and your team.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having us.
There he goes, the Golden Gator, baby. And Chad Green, thank you, Chad. Appreciate you. Chad Green with us here on WFO Radio. How about that? What do you think about what Bob Tasca had to say? He stood up. He called out the facts. IndyCar is not the fastest. Like, we can have this semantical argument about side-by-side racing and, what's most powerful, what's most extreme. But in the end, it's really about a claim that was made not by drag racing. It's a claim that was made by a sports marketing agency. Like, let's be really honest. Like, I talked to Graham Rahal on the starting line, and Graham even said, I knew I was going to get in trouble with this. I was going to get my chops busted about this the second I saw it, because he knows 300 is greater than 200. It just numbers. And IndyCar is not the fastest. They are the fastest on an oval. They've got the biggest, most significant race on the planet. They've got a lot of cool elements to IndyCar. And Chad's right. I've been to the Indy 500 3 times. I love the Indy 500. But when you're minding your business and all of a sudden shots are taken at you and you're like, what? Wait a second. And a lot of talk has happened behind the scenes, guys. A lot of talk like, who made this mistake? How did this happen? To decide to go with a statement, they're probably not even considering the existence of drag racing. They were looking to punch up at Formula One. They are faster than Formula One by a lot. They're faster than Formula One. They run on ovals. Formula One is the world's most popular motorsport. They're the quickest accelerating and decelerating, like lateral movements. They certainly brake harder than any other cars. We know the difference and we appreciate it. But to not give drag racing its due, to skip over drag racing, and these guys like Bob Tasca, like Chad Green, like Antron Brown, like Justin Ashley, and just skip over their accomplishment and ignore the existence. Bob Tasca called it out. Now, I've been flooded with text messages about, oh man, aren't you worried about getting Fox angry? And, I don't know. I don't know. It's just numbers. It's just facts. And so we'll have to see how it all works out. But in the moment, in a hot moment, full of adrenaline, Bob Tasca wants to say that, I am all for it. Coming up next, we have drivers of the, quickest side-by-side naturally aspirated machines. Dallas Glenn takes down Greg Anderson in the final round. First time Dallas beats Greg. We ask you to share the show, but we're going to be back right after this.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
It's Antron Brown, driver of the Macco Tools Top Fuel Dragster, and yes, I'm a 3-time world champ. But you know what? When I win, I go straight to WFO Radio, baby. I want to see you listening in.
Antron Brown, we got to update the liner. I got to stop telling these guys to say how many time championship they've won, because it's going to be outdated eventually. All right, joining us now, Mission Foods Pro Stock winner. He got the job done in the final round over Greg Anderson. He shook his fist at him. Dallas Glenn. What's up, Dallas? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Joe?
I'm great. I love Dallas. He puts a lot into the sound quality of his interviews. He's got his studio set up there at KB Titan Racing Engine. All right, Dallas, I expect like genuine honesty here. How great did it feel to light that scoreboard against Greg in the final round?
Oh, it's definitely good. Anytime you can beat Greg Anderson, you've put a good lap down. I think this one was more, he just kind of missed it a little bit. I think they were going for it and it didn't quite hold. I think it cooled off a little more than they were expecting and the track kind of went away. But, I didn't know that I had never beaten him in the final round before. So that was definitely cool to get that monkey off my back, because I'm definitely going to need that going forward here.
Yeah. Now, how do you not remember that, right? Is it like PTSD? Are you blocking it out? Are you burying it down deep in a little box on the inside? Or what like how, 0 for 4, man. Now that it's over, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I've beaten Greg other times. I think I've taken him out a couple times in the semis. I know I've taken him out first round before. So I guess I just kind of latch onto those ones and not think about the times that he's whooped up on me in the final.
Yes. Well, last year was such an entertaining year for those of us who get to watch for a living. You guys, you gutted it out, grit, determination, a battle. You as Greg's teammate, Aaron as a rival. But in the end, he says it. So whenever I say Greg like the old guy, I'm only referencing what he says. But this grizzled old guy came back and one last time maybe.
Yeah, he definitely, he earned it. He drove really well. He had the lights he needed to. He shifted is good. It's there's so much more that goes into these that people don't realize, and he did it. He did his job, and the crew chiefs did theirs, and he's working back here in the engine shop right now. If you go back to the engine shop, he's back there working on another engine. So he's definitely worked hard for it. He earned it. He deserved it. As much as I want to take it away from him, he got that one. But there's always the next one, and I can I hopefully say that I have a few more to be able to try to get than he does. So it was good for him, and in the end, KB 1 and 2, we can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, exactly. You're getting a lot of congratulations out there in the chat section. Hi, Dallas. Congratulations on your win. Keith says you replaced my wife's favorite driver, Jason Line. She's now a fan of yours. Congratulations on that. Bonneville is a speed event, single cars. What is your take on that as an observer in drag racing? Nicole says the ads were made by an ad agency. An article even said they were new to IndyCar. But Nicole, they approved those ads. Like, the ad agency doesn't make an ad and not show the client and just put it on the Super Bowl without the client having an opportunity to say, that's not really true. Can we say fastest on ovals? Or what do you think, Dallas? You're a drag racer. Weigh in on the speed controversy. Speedgate.
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 Honestly, I didn't even see that commercial. I don't know if I was in the bathroom or something during the Super Bowl, but until Bob Tasca brought it out, I hadn't even really heard about it. I've been working hard on Sadie's car all night, so I haven't even looked at a TV in I don't know how many weeks. But it, to say that they're the fastest racing event, I guess, technically you're 100% right. It's not factual. But how, ads are, it's, I always laugh at some of those ad agency stuff that they put out where you get the guy who can't even, use a screwdriver. It says, oh, but if you use this handy thing for 1995 or whatever. So, but now
he says it, and I start thinking about all the commercials and the guy with the razor, and he cuts his face and he's bleeding profusely.
I'm sure they were, technically that I would assume they are definitely the fastest motorsports in an oval, 100%, and especially with how many of them are out there. And it's not taking anything away from IndyCar, but if you want to just talk about pure speed of multiple cars at an event, drag racing definitely takes the cake there.
That's as simple as that. It's 300 is greater than 330 is greater than 230. It's just not in question unless we start qualifying it with oval. But why should we? We don't have to do that. Every motorsport has got its own really cool aspect. Like NASCAR, not as fast as any of them. Like, we could say it's the slowest, but they have contact. They make contact on a regular basis, and rubbing is racing, and they're beating and banging, and the good old boys and all of that stuff. Each one of the big four American motorsports, motorsports in the world, IndyCar, NASCAR, NHRA Drag Racing, and Formula One, and, sprint cars. I appreciate what they're doing as well. I appreciate everything. I love it all. If it's got wheels and engine and a driver, I love it. But as far as like the big TV motorsports, they've all got something unique, but one should not, I don't know, maybe we're getting a little, no, I like it. I like that we're getting a little hot under the collar.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did it just because they wanted to be called out and wanted all the extra attention. I mean, look how much extra attention it's getting.
Are they getting attention, or are we getting attention? I don't know. Maybe you're right. Graham told me their ratings doubled for their season opener out there at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. He said, when I asked him about it, he said, hey, it worked. The ratings have doubled. And so that is a big deal. Let's see. Dallas's win was cool. Let's see this. Dallas's win was cool, but let's talk about what everyone wants to know. What's Sadie's next race in that awesome top dragster? Yeah, what about Sadie's dragster, Dallas? We always get a lot of pub when we talk about Sadie's dragster.
Sadie's next national event will probably be Charlotte. I'm going to try to take it out before then and make sure all the bugs are worked out. Pretty sure it's going to go right down the track and be absolutely perfect right now, but you always want to know for sure. So, but it's all together, just a few little quick updates that we want to do to it, but no, it should be out there at Charlotte. We'll see how fast it's going to go.
Yes. Well, people will always hear about Sadie's top dragster on WFO Radio, your home for NHRA drag racing, because I know Sadie will clip this and it will end up on social media. right?
Absolutely. She's very good at her job.
She is very good at her job. All right, let's talk a little bit about, just the round by round. Troy Coughlin, Corey Reed. Corey goes red by 3 thou, setting up the big final round. But what was the biggest challenge of this race, given the weather conditions, the rain, some complaining about the track, power outage? When you look back on the Gatornationals from 2025, what stands out as the biggest hurdles?
Definitely rain, I'd say, is the biggest hurdles. I said it in the media center there after the race. I swear I get more wore out sitting there watching it rain than I do actually working all day. It just, the rain just takes all your energy out of you, and you're just waiting around and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's kind of miserable just sitting there waiting so long. Better off when I, go try to find something to do. Not only that, but then, the rubber peels off of the track, and you got to feel bad for all the safety, and track guys, because they're out there in the rain too. And then once it stops raining, they have to get the track back ready as good as they can. And, I definitely don't want their job. They're out there, 16, 18 hours a day, late nights, early mornings. And the second something's not good, everybody blames them. So, I don't think they get enough credit for how good it really is.
I agree. No, it's as simple as that. And I was feeling it too. For those that are out there and you think, you're not doing anything, the not doing anything is exhausting. I don't know if it has to do with the adrenaline or just not knowing, but being at a racetrack, not working is way more exhausting than actually working.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm usually more tired at the end of the day sitting there watching it rain all day than anything. That, and I have a tendency to not be able to stop snacking the whole day. So that's another bad thing about the rain.
Don't do that. You'll slow down. All right. So what's the status of Pro Stock right now? KB Titan looks, based on the performance last year, to be very strong. I'm not going to put you guys in front after one race, but you definitely had a very good race. The McGahays look like they're kind of moving in the right direction. There are some other teams. Brandon Foster got Jim Yates. I heard really good things about what they did and what they will do. Derek Kramer, best run of his career. Hartford threw down, didn't get down first round, but it looks like this year is going to be even more wide open than in the past. And I'm not even mentioning Aaron Stanfield, the return of Greg Stanfield, Erica, all of these things. Derek Reese beats Erica first round. What's going on out there in Pro Stock?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be, the typical on steroids, throwdown between everybody. I think anytime, if you even make the show, you have a chance of winning. It's going to be tough out there for sure. There's going to be a lot of cars at every race that are all capable of running great. Greg Stanfield, he showed he can absolutely still hang with anybody. He's going to definitely be tough. We're always going to have to be dealing with the track. First round, we saw a lot of cars shake and not get down. And, it showed who can get their car back in gear quick and who shook worse. And so there's all kinds of challenges that all these drivers are going to have to face. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Heading to Arizona, give us a preview of Arizona and Pomona back to back. Got a weekend off. And then all of a sudden, we're getting a little busier.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like a weekend off to me because I got to start driving on Sunday to make it out there in time.
Right.
But, it's going to be all busy. I think I haven't even looked at the weather yet for Arizona. Hopefully we don't have to deal with any more of that wet stuff. That's miserable. Everything's wet in the trailer. We got to drag everything out and dry it all out. But, I've had good luck in Arizona. Last year, I think, I won the Winter Nationals there in Arizona and then runner up to Greg. It was one of the 4 times I guess I've met him in the final. And so, we're going into that one with the points lead, and the points lead champion gets money this year. So, the last 2 years I've been able to capture that title. So now I need to not let this one slip away and let that extra bonus money go.
Yeah, I love that program that the points leader after the U.S. Nationals will get bonus money. The person earns it, and it's the right thing to do, and NHRA stepping up to get the job done. Dallas, great job. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Congratulations on winning the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals. Dramatic fashion, and so excited to just be back, just to have racing back and see you guys on track. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Joe.
There he goes, Dallas Glenn with us here on WFO Radio. Gaige Herrera is next. Vance and Hines take the win. A huge, huge weekend for Gaige. This guy's undefeated at the Gatornationals. We'll get to Gaige in a second. I just want to remind you about a couple of the great sponsors who support WFO Radio. These guys are awesome, like Bernie's Speed Shop. Bernie's had the Fan Fest. This is Josh Hart's home base. I spent a lot of time with Josh, went fishing with Josh on Thursday morning, hung out with Josh at Bernie's on Wednesday night. If you're going to the Gatornationals next year, you got to go by Bernie's, but really you can check them out online, bernies.com, BURNYZZ.com. Also, HusseyPerformance.net. Not just copperhead gaskets anymore. They do all kinds of gaskets for all kinds of cars, valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, and it's not just copper either. They're all made in America, and David Allen is so crazy, he wants me to give his personal cell phone number. They have contingency programs in the NHRA, national events, top sportsman, top dragster, and the PDRA, top alcohol dragster, top alcohol funny car, top sportsman, top dragster for the NHRA, 724-318-8292. Reach out to David Allen. Everything is made in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. This is made in America stuff. They are getting the job done the way it should be. HusseyPerformance.net. Really appreciate these guys. And then, of course, CWT Industries. Randy Neal's balance machines. If it rotates, it can be balanced. Go to CWTindustries.com. If you've got a machine shop, if you work in a machine shop, if you're looking for the best, easiest to use, easiest to train, money-making balancers, go to CWTindustries.com or simply reach out to me. And you can email me, joe@WFOradio.com, about any topic, but I will put you together with the folks at CWT Industries, and you can hook it up. Let's bring on our Pro Stock motorcycle winner, who is taking a break from work, right? This is a hardworking man, Gaige Herrera, joining us now from the car studio, the truck studio. What's up, Gaige? Congratulations.
How's it going, Joe? Good to see you.
Thank you for making the time for us. We talked with Gaige. He's like, you're in the middle of a big thing at work today, so you're going to carve out time. We won't keep you long, but Gainesville, you're undefeated at this place.
Yeah, it's incredible, to have 3 starts there and 3 wins. I mean, it's and the way that we were able to accomplish it this weekend, it was a big deal to us, a big deal to me and the whole team. It was a battle between me and Matt basically all weekend. So to come home with the win, it's one we really weren't expecting, to say the least.
Well, I don't know. The odds makers at Play NHRA were expecting it. You were one of the favorites. You won the championship, but the way it happened, a great back and forth, fast bikes all around. Angie was fast. There was Ron Torno was fast. Like, there were fast bikes everywhere. You were just the best on this given day. Even the final round ETs so close. You got the job done on the starting line. Talk a little bit about waiting for Matt, though. We spoke about it with Chad a little bit earlier as Hagen's crew waited for them. It's really kind of a racer etiquette. The day that someone just starts their bike and pulls up there, or starts their funny car and leaves somebody in the staging lanes, I don't know. I feel like they're going to feel the wrath of the fans. But tell me about the moment, because you had already fired up.
Yeah, I mean, in that moment, I never want to get a win that way. So, I mean, I'll wait as long as I can. We only are allowed a certain time frame that we're allowed to wait. Because I would want the same thing in return if I was on the other side of it. So that's the way I look at it. I come from sportsman racing, and it goes the same way. I mean, sometimes in sportsman racing, you'll wait till the end of the line for your component, if they're not able to make it. So it's just, I just feel like it's the right thing to do. None of us want to get a freebie. We always want to earn the win because it just means more. But yeah, I mean, luckily he was able to fix it pretty quick. But yeah, I fired my bike up and then shut it right off, and it was just one of those things. I was worried, then we're worried about oil getting on the clutch and affecting performance and stuff like that. But luckily it wasn't running long enough where I didn't start the burnout. Luckily I was paying attention to Matt and noticed his bike shut off. But yeah, I just feel like it's a sportsman thing to do, and I'd hope for the same in return.
And I'm sure you'd get it, but I will say though, it's never without a little wrinkle of controversy, because Andrew said, hey, it's the ready line, right? That line that we've heard used in the past. And then Angie went on social and was like, thank you, but don't fire the shot after it's all. these two teams, and I would love to hear you talk about it, because you said the reason you wanted to win the championship last year was to prevent Matt from winning number 7, right? Not for you to win number 2. I thought that was interesting. There's constant salvos going back and forth between these two teams at all times, it seems.
Yeah, there is. I mean, my main goal is still to keep Matt from getting the 7th championship, but still too early in the season to, get too confident or anything like that. It's going to be a battle to the end as far as that point. But yeah, there's always, back and forth between Vance Hines, MSR. I think it was, Andrew's comment, was just like a little jab. I mean, we all throw little jabs back and forth at each other. I think that's what keeps both teams pushing each other as hard as we do. We're basically out there showing everyone how fast Suzuki's can go, and Matt's showing everyone how fast the Buells can go. It's just the amount of work that Andrew and them put in at the shop, and then you see Matt and Angie always posting stuff on the dyno in between going fishing every once in a while. But they're both hardworking teams, and they both got a lot of people on their team. So it was just a little jab, I feel. The ready line's back there by the tower, but stuff happens, stuff falls off, and they would wait for me like they have, and I'll still wait for them. It's just it was just a friendly jab, I'd say. Nothing too crazy.
Well, okay, exactly. I like it. I like just some little jabs. Like, those are happening at all times amongst friends. And I'm not saying that you guys are friends, but you're in the same place at the same time every weekend, and you want to beat the tar out of each other on the racetrack. But I like it, and I hope everybody keeps it in perspective. Let's talk about the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. You were there. Richard was there. Eddie and Andrew, to see Vance and Hines inducted into the Big Daddy Don Garlitz International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Of course, I was there. I was hosting the deal. Loans did a great job introing Terry Vance. And, what did that mean to you? Like, the team that you ride for going into yet another Hall of Fame?
It means a lot. It means a lot to me just to be able to be a part of that team, be a small part of it. Terry and Byron, I feel, have made Pro Side Motorcycle what it is just because of their dedication and, always innovating new parts to keep, these motors going faster, being more competitive, more reliable. I feel like, Terry Vance still plays a big part in NHRA. He does his donations to the brakes deal with all that. And, he's just, he's a giving person, I feel. And he loves NHRA drag racing. They kind of formed their whole business around drag racing, him and Byron. And to be there at the Hall of Fame deal, it was a lot of fun. Not only to be there for Terry and Byron, but to see all the other inductees and hear the stories. And it's really amazing how different it is nowadays compared to what it was back then. But they're the ones that made it what it is today. So it was very cool to experience it. I know I kind of left you hanging at that one point when you went to interview me. I had to go to the bathroom. You didn't even realize.
Nobody believes that. I pointed. You saw me point to my camera guy and say, I'm going to him. And I looked away, and then you're gone. So right now, I forgot all about that until you mentioned it. Right now, I swear I'd forgotten all about it. But now that you bring it up, Gaige, can you certify that you didn't run because you knew I was coming your way?
No, I really had to go to the bathroom. I didn't even realize it until I came back, and Ed was giving me busting my chops about it. I was like, oh, I didn't know, honestly.
All right. Listen, I too have had to go to the bathroom in the past as well. So I know what it's like, especially at a show like that. In fact, it happened during that show. There was a moment where I, vacated the helm, if you will, and some stuff happened. So, it is that kind of deal. But it was just funny because like, here we go, Gaige Herrera, and he's gone. So there you go. But your dad was there, and he got a little pub out of it. Gaige, great job. I'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much for joining us on WFO Radio. Probably not your last appearance for 25. We didn't talk to you about the championship, right? Real quick, the run you're in. Say something about winning the championship last year so I can feel good about, actually not getting that championship interview.
Yeah, I mean, winning the championship last year meant a lot to me. To get, let alone my first championship, but then to get the second one, the second year in a row, it was very special and made it feel like the first one wasn't a fluke to myself, which, you know, I wouldn't say the first one came easy, but it was just very unexpected. So to get the second one, it holds a very special place, you know, in my heart, or, you know, for me. But it was good all season long, and, you know, it came down to first round. You know, I had to race the bike that I made my debut on, and I had to beat that bike to lock up the championship, because if I didn't win first round and Matt won the race, he would have won the championship. So if I was to say I wasn't nervous in going at Pomona, I would be lying. You know, that was probably the most nervous I've been throughout my whole career. But, you know, getting the win and then going to the final against Matt, you know, it was overall a good weekend there in Pomona, and a good way to wrap up the championship. But yeah, I got, you know, that championship, or both championships, you know, I feel like it's always more my team's than it is mine. You know, I get the glory and the fun out of it from riding the bike and all that, but you know, it's all thanks to them. You know, all the guys at Vance Hines, you know, all the reps at Revzilla, Motul, Suzuki, you know, none of it's possible without them. So I always got to thank them for it. And we're going to try to go for our third one this year, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be tough.
And he's got a regular job too. Like, all of this greatness is happening, and he's a regular working stiff like the rest of us. Gaige, get back to work. Appreciate you making the time for us here today, though. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Have a good one.
There goes Gaige Herrera with us here on WFO Radio, your 2024 Mission Foods Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champion. And there's a Gaige Herrera effect. Like, a lot of these small tire, no bar, grudge racer motorcycle types are coming in to the sport because they have seen what he has been able to do. And I'm hoping the NHRA Tech Department has gotten a bit of a hold on the parity, and we'll see. But the final round, certainly between Gaige and Matt, it was there. See a lot of comments out there in the comment section. We are going to get to those as well. We are also going to play some of the finals, Joe's Eye View. But right now is the time to put your comments in the comments section while I tell you about a couple more of the people who make it possible. I just want to remind, like, every one of these shows goes up on PowerTube TV. And if you haven't downloaded the app, you can know your internet connected television. If you have cut the cord and you can't get to our shows either on our Apple Podcast, on Spotify or SoundCloud, or on YouTube, which, by the way, guys, we are very, very close to a mini milestone for us. We're no Clay Millican. We're not over 100,000 just yet, but we are coming in on a big number. And so please share the show. Let's get some more subscribers out there on our YouTube channel. But PowerTube TV plays our shows, and we really appreciate them doing so. Our friends at Wright Trailers. I towed Project Pontiac all around in the Wright trailer that they worked on. And let me tell you, in the rain, it was really brutal coming back from Gainesville. And Wright Trailers. Now, the Wright Trailers Top Fuel All-Star Call-Out has been moved to Pomona. So if you're out there in Pomona, California, another reason to get a ticket to go to the Winter Nationals, give them a call, 833-31-WRIGHT. Or if you want a personalized introduction, if you're in the market for a trailer, reach out to me. Like, that's the better bet. You reach out to me, and I'll put you in direct connection as opposed to you calling and just, don't forget, WFO merch is available and on sale, including the Project Pontiac t-shirts. I saw a couple of people with Project Pontiac t-shirts out there this weekend. It was crazy to see someone wearing a t-shirt for my racing operation. Like, that doesn't make sense. Marvin Rodak, coffee, 817-924-6821. Hot sauce. This guy is the best. Spice Rub. Marvin Rodak down there in Fort Worth, Texas, been a WFO sponsor, now a big sponsor of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Yes, and we will give you the league results momentarily. There's over 120 people. I think it's over 118 in our league, which means it's 119. But Marvin Rodak is a big supporter of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. Order some coffee. It's the best in the world. And our WFO Patreons. These are people, they get to hear it from Heiner, Pro Stock Show. They get Monday Motivation sometimes. They get to watch the Ignition Show video of the behind the scenes, me in my pajamas. It's great. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And of course, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Frank Atlanta Hawley, making it possible for you to drive a dragster, to feel the feelings, enjoy the sensations, get out there with nothing but the shirt on your back and experience what it's like. And then when you leave, you just leave everything behind. Unlike me, who had to tow home 5 hours with my racing operation. The big benefit to go into Frank Hawley's for the Dragster Adventure. And they can even do the Dragster Adventure Challenge, by the way. We had talked about it a little bit. Like if you've got a sales team and you want to do something super cool, they can set up a race for you. Everybody gets some practice and then they get a race and you can declare someone the winner. Great stuff. Plus our friends at Foggett, of course, and Bernie's and Hussey and Total Seal Piston Rings. Let me tell you about Total Seal. We've got a new interview with Mike Moran up on Hidden Horsepower. It is a great interview. You will love it. Hidden Horsepower, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and you can subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. And Jesse Converters, of course, the DPF XFit brand. Matt Latino, getting ready to drive. Eric Latino. Watch out for Eric. Drove well, fast car. That's what it takes here in year 2 of Pro Stock. Really excited about it. And remember, WFO Radio, we do have sponsors. We got to keep the doors open and the lights on, all that stuff. And it happens because of you guys, the viewers. And so if you share the show, I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. And let's go back and watch a couple of things. I wanted to play this for Chad, but time was a factor. And so let's check out the funny car final round, right? No, let's check out the Top Fuel final round. Antron Brown, Sean Langdon, one of the closest races of the weekend. We'll start there. Joe's eye view. Guys, I want to share with you the amazing opportunity that I have to be on the starting line so you could see and feel as best as we possibly can what it's like to be ground zero of the most powerful side-by-side racing in the world. Check it out. Top Fuel final. Antron gets the job done. Langdon was bringing it. How about the sound? Guys, hopefully through the internet, you can hear how amazing the sound is. Those two cars, the Karate tune-up and the Alan Johnson tune-up, at least to me, sound totally different. The Alan Johnson tune-up is like, unless there's something in the air with the iPhone, how could it be that they sound so different? The Alan Johnson tune-up is lower, more dense sound, whereas the Karate tune-up, I hear a more crisp cackling to that, but maybe it's just me, but I am hearing it. It was pretty amazing and just absolutely loved it. Guys, get your comments in the comments section. I'm going to read your comments here in a second, but let's go back and just go back to the starting line, and we get to hear from Antron. Hopefully he'll be on next week here on WFO Radio, but then we get the funny car final with Chad Green.
You got to put it up there. These drivers are incredible this year, man. Always seems to doing homework and won that championship. And hats off to the team, because you're right. Kept throwing things, getting better, getting better. We got some monster house over there, man. There's no joke driving, but Jerome's in the house. But we have a lot of fun, but being here at the Gatornationals, starting it off like this is a true blessing. All praise goes to God that the team, part of this team that's in front of the ride. Brad, Oliver, Matt, Lucas, to Hood, and Hanks and the boys, a great job. Hey, how about that? Gator time. Woo!
Second Internationals win.
What a moment. What a moment. Seeing a bunch of grown men jumping around like kids. And this is my what I'm trying to do here is like bring you guys into it. It's not just two cars going down the racetrack in a line. Some guy said that about Tasca, right? They're just going down the racetrack in a line. This is the blood and the sweat and the tears and a huge financial investment and time and away from families to get out there and earn that win for Chad Green, seeing Hunter and Blake. Like, here we go. Let's get it on. Like those moments. And that's, Joe's view. And amazing, of course, thanks to the folks at NHRA on Fox and Amanda Busick on there. You could hear Jason Galvin in the background. Speaking of which, let me run over a couple of the top stories from the weekend, like Trip Tatum and his crash. Horrific. Hurts your heart. Seeing Bobby Lagana crying. But I went and watched the coverage, and something that I wish I had known on the starting line, unfortunately I did not, was that Trip said flat out on the NHRA on Fox broadcast, he owned responsibility for the crash. There's a lot of people out there who didn't hear that, didn't see that Tripp said he stayed with it too long and he had responsibility for the crash. That's important. That's important in that moment. Yes, the track wasn't good at that moment and they were trying to work it in and all of that track prep stuff. But at the same time, Tripp said, he didn't have to say, he didn't get out of the car and say anything other than he owned it, which I admire Trip Tatum for that. Steve Torrence had some, emotional things to say. I don't fully understand where that came from, except this. Steve likes Trip a lot. Bobby Lagana and those guys in the Capto team were very helpful with Trip. And Trip has worked and volunteered or been a part of around the Capco team for a long time. The adrenaline of that moment extended for an hour. And, Steve was the one pair or one of two pairs that didn't get to run down the track. And so I didn't fully understand, but I do plan to ask Steve. But really, I think here a couple days later, I don't know, the answer might be a little different. So I didn't get that. The Alexis Thrash, amazing. Hats off to Hagen. and the crew for waiting. You've talked a little bit about that. Tony Schumacher to Rick Ware Racing. What a great story. And I love what Rick Ware is doing. Not just getting involved in the sport of drag racing and toe is in the water and seeing the temperature. No, they realize 2 cars is better than 1. Double the data is better. You got a premier driver, a known quantity, a known personality out there. Go get them. Figure it out. And they're going to figure it out. And I think Tony's got some marketing partnerships that are with him as well. And so Clay Millican and Tony Schumacher are going to be teammates as soon as is possible. The rear end issue. Yikes. So those diapers are going to be on, as all the funny cars, I think, or all the cars as soon as is possible. And it's about making them and measuring them and getting them to fit each car right, because not every car is exactly the same. I think that is great, but we just can't have this happen on a regular basis. So a longer solution, a more permanent solution needs to be found. And the smartest minds in the world are being tested on this one. I'm confident they will come up with a solution, just like they have for every other time that we have been up against the limitations of a part or a piece. That's how we got here. Like, why don't they use cast iron Hemis at a junkyards anymore? Like, why? Right? The Angel DQ. Texted back and forth with Corey Mahalik this morning. They were very embarrassed. I was on the microphone. They got DQ'd during a buy run. Their temperature was below 50 degrees in the A fuel car. Corey explained on social media, and I highly recommend, if nothing else, they get some social media followers out of it. They totally owned it. The car they're running is one of Antron's older cars, and that's why it's a canopy car, and it still has a top fuel tank in it, which does not have the means with which to accept the probe, to probe the temperature for a fuel, and they just missed it. And it was not their intention, and it was a mistake, and Corey said that they were embarrassed, and there's a reason, though. They did feel like, and I said to him, they did get a lot of attention because it was Angel. But at the same time, this year, one of the new things, or one of the updated things that I think we're all going to try to do, is keep everyone, including the announcers, more in on rules, infractions, and DQs and such. Passing fuel check, say, like a car fails fuel check in qualifying, rolls out first the next session. You saw them go a low ET, but then they come out first, and you want to know why? We're going to try to keep everybody a little better informed. At least that is one of our goals. And so that is a big deal. Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. If you have joined the WFO League, thank you. It's not too late. Join the WFO League in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. We've got 119 players. It's one of the biggest single leagues, and I would like to make it bigger. Follow our Twitter account, Hope I'm not banned. WFO Radio, and I tweet out the link on a regular basis. Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, you can probably search. But Mandra Racer won the overall. I'm not going to give each class. Mandra Racer won the overall in the WFO League. Hawkster, second. Hot Rod Hoster, third. TPC, fourth. Obel, or is it Obi, fifth. And for those of you wondering, good old WFO Joe, the guy who works for the NHRA, the guy who is at every race, the guy who does a show, the guy who's supposed to know, 35th, 76 points, 35th. So, yeah, there's that. Welcome to 2025. Fantasy games, not good. But join us. It's fun. You have a chance. Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Let's see. What else? Pro Mod moved to Chicago. The call out moved to the Winter Nationals. And there you go. Let's get to the comments section of the show, and then we'll get on out of here. I'm scanning the comments here, guys. Scanning the comments. Randy Tarhark, my buddy. What's up, Randy? This guy and I used to battle at Moroso Motorsports Park and Miami Hollywood Speedway, and he used to win more often than I won. We battled. He had a really nice Chevelle and really good racer. John Marconi. Joe, you and the new team did a great job announcing, and it was great race overall, getting in and out with all that NHRA faced. Still awesome spectator event, the Gatornationals. Paraphrasing what John Marconi has to say. The new announcing team. I'll just say this. First of all, Freiberger, right? This guy has got his bag on. He comes walking in, and I just dragged him in for the test, and we started talking in second one of his tenure at the NHRA. You get on the mic. Here we go. Had a blast. I thought Freiberger did great. I thought Jordan Vandergriff did great. I thought the Friday night YouTube show live stream for free was great. Though, me and Loans got to stand next to Jordan Vandergriff, right? This guy looks like he's chiseled out of marble, and we look like something out of Family Guy. And I don't know. I got to do some sit-ups or wear a girdle or something. Use trickery, some sort of, V shape on my shirt. But we'll figure it out. You watch that evolve. By race 4, you'll be stunned at how... no, you probably won't be. Let's see what else. Mark says, I think Pro Stock bikes should be on box stock 600s without wheelie bars. More manufacturer involvement, lower entry price, more emphasis on rider skill. Maybe, I don't know so much about the motorcycles. My guess would be that there would be less fan interest as well. I think, stock block bikes. Richard says, Gaige has really gotten much more comfortable with interviews because of how many WFO appearances he has made. True that. Definitely. Mark Selwood. Joe, you had a pretty good arm throwing those T-shirts in the stands. Thank you very much. Yeah. No warm-up. No warm-up. But I got him out there. Got him pretty deep. WFO, says Eddie. I came in 3rd in the WFO League for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. So what's your team name then? Your Hot Rod Hoster? Is that what it is? Richard? This is the footage that Fox misses. I know it doesn't cater to the majority of fans, but once in a while we could get more of it. I don't know. I think they did a great job. Look, here's the deal. No matter what happens, no matter what, the old hand to God, this is my opinion. No matter what footage Fox puts out, there's going to be 15% of people out on social media that just says they hate it because that's what they're trained to do. You got Ron Capps. He's got a visor cam. He's going down the track. They're talking to Ron Capps on the radio. The sound was awesome. They've got super slow-mos. And when you see people talking about it, they don't notice any of that. They don't notice that. The new graphics, all this new and amazing stuff, they don't notice anything. They're just predisposed to say the same thing that they've said. I've perused some of the social media comments, through my just travels. And one guy thought we're still on ESPN. He's commenting about it, that we're still on the guys at ESPN. What are we supposed to do with that? And here's what happens, right? Consider the source. After a while, you tune out. And in the immortal words of I don't want to say late great because he's still with us, Gary Gerald, I think a mentor for many of us, G-Man, told me flat out, Joe, when you start worrying too much about what the fans are saying, you end up sitting with them. Let that sink in. The G-Man drops that kind of wisdom. NHRA on Fox, the broadcast team, Tasca's comments notwithstanding, that's all in fun. That is, like, if you can't take Tasca's comments, there's a big problem. That's a big problem. This Tasca thing is a trial balloon. Can NHRA drivers express their true opinion in the moment, even if it's slightly calling out the broadcast partner? I feel confident that they can take it because it's true. We'll see. The sound is great, but there's nothing like your insides vibrating when all the horsepower is going down the track, which is our great challenge. We got to get people to the track one time. That experience that you just throw through your screen, it's like 10%. I agree. There's nothing like being that close to these loud and fast machines. Great footage. Love it. Another great weekend in the Top Eliminator Club. Get your tickets for next year. NHRA's 75th anniversary. It's going to be epic. Good segue. Look at this, guys. I got so much talk going out there with this 75th anniversary ring. Yeah, let me get rid of the white background. Let you just see this, okay? I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not, but I'm doing it anyway. This ring, it weighs 5 pounds. I love walking around like this. I'm like a New Jersey Italian, right? Got a bunch of rings. Need to get a pinky ring. I'm gonna add to it. But the renewals at every track this year for 75th anniversary, if you renew your tickets, you get this. It's pretty cool. And everybody wanted to try it on. It's like I was a world champ or something. Joe, you should bring back your happy hour shows. Yeah, Blake, it's so tough. So tough. Karate with the thumbs up. That's the thing that's cool, is that Fox is showing you primary view. Everyone should DVR NHRA on Fox and watch every second after you've watched NHRA TV. But what I am trying to show you is a secondary view. The people watching the thing that's about to happen. And yeah, Karate had just won, right? He's super stoked. What's up? Have Brett Kepner on and discuss speed. Brett and I were just, I think he thought I was making some sort of statement, and I wasn't. I was saying IndyCar's not faster than drag racing, and they are saying it. And there were a lot of people on social media attacking drag racing. IndyCar makes a false claim. And Nicole was on there saying that IndyCar has got they're a bigger property for Fox, and that's the reason. It doesn't give anybody the right to say something that's factually inaccurate, right? WFO Radio is bigger and better than ABC. We have got a bigger audience than ABC. That's not true. If you're going to say stuff like that, you got to say it with a little vaguism, like just a little blurred lines. You got to learn the ways, and that's not the ways, right? The greatest show in the universe. That's subjective. You can say that. We're the greatest show in the universe. What? Says who? Says how? How do you quantify it? What is the metric? The cackle difference of the fuel cars is interesting. Please, NHRA, don't take away nitro percentage if the need is to slow the car down. Let's not get ahead of anything. Like, come on, whatever your truth bot. Like, my God, talk about speaking something negative into existence. You know what? Listen to this guy. Truthbot 1126. They never had the idea of taking away nitro percentage or going to the 8th mile until this comment. If it happens, this comment is probably the reason. They got the idea from you. So when it happens, remember this. Rick Ware is interesting for sure. 2 times in getting Kepner. Everybody loves Kepner. I'll get Kepner back. He was with us last year. He's in the archive. Brett Kepner is awesome. Nobody knows more. That's pretty much it. Nobody has put in more effort. Pretty much it as well. Congratulations to all the winner. Makes me proud of my 38. Joe, what do you think Erica Enders and her crew have to do to get her back on top and winning races? I think she's going to win races very rapidly. She's not going to be, there's a lot of changes in the elite motorsports ecosystem. And when someone gives a reason, often people consider it an excuse, because we've all given reasons, and somebody has said, you're just making excuses. And so there's no point in giving a reason. Mark Ingersoll, 50 years of pro stock knowledge, is recovering from a double lung transplant, right? Jake Hairston has got his own deal. Jake, we're with you, buddy. Serious. Thinking about you. Rick Jones Race Cars has been purchased. There's a lot going on that affects the elite motorsports ecosystem, and they're going to work through it. They're going to work through it. But trees don't grow to the sky. Things happen that may slow progress. Will Erica win a race this year? Yes, she will. Will she win 6 races this year? I don't know if anyone's going to win 6 races. How is the Pro Mod postponement determined? Here's one for you. I had someone reach out to me, and like social media, it's just the greatest thing that's ever happened to us in our lives, and also terrible. NHRA forcing these guys. Every class that was moved to somewhere, the people in the class are the ones who determined it. Nothing was forced upon the NHRA, on the racers by the NHRA, including stock and super gas. They voted to race. Other classes, they went and talked to everybody, and they all voted to not race. The racers made the determinations of where to go. So remember that for next time. Scott also says, great ignition show. Yes, pronounced Hoster. Golden Gator's really cool. Life's a Drag. Who came in last in your league, Joe? Oh, I don't know, man. I'm going to ask me to skip ahead, skip pages. Let's see. Okay. 50th was Big Dog. What else? Oh, I don't know. I can't bring up rows per page. 50, 100. I got 119. So how do I get to 119? I don't know. I was complaining to Elin a little bit about navigation earlier. I can't figure out how to get there to 119. You know what I'm going to guess? Valiant 69 was 100th. I'm going to guess that Life's a Drag was last. Remember when they did a show? Remember that? The Life's a Drag show, and they would tell you about the restaurants and stuff, and how great that was. Those guys burst onto the scene. The first couple of weeks, everyone was interested, and then they just stopped. Just phoned it in. Sad. There's a lot of podcasts that happen like that. It's sad. Great advice from Gary Gerald. Absolutely, it was. Remember, Joe, Tasca has precedent on controversial comments. Remember last year's manifold issue? Yeah, well, I love Tasca because he says what he thinks. And he says it in that, East Coast Rhode Island style. You don't like what he said? I don't know. Similar to someone saying IHRA buying all these tracks, now it's not true. Corey, I don't want to go there because I don't understand what's going on. What I do understand is that a press release went out that they were buying, and I'm not going to say anything about the other tracks, but Maryland is refuting the story. And so I'm stunned and confused and bewildered and have no idea how that can happen. That I can put out an announcement that I'm buying the NHRA, except it's not true, and I'm not doing it. And then the NHRA says, yeah, not true. Something's up. I do know that, I don't even want to go there, right? Because the people there are I don't understand it. Something happened. That's miscommunication. Something happened. How much does it cost to become a Top Eliminator Club member? I don't know. It's about $400 for the full event. You get everything. You get food, you get covering. There's some form of air conditioning in there. There's some collectibles involved. I think it's about $400. I think it's the greatest bargain in drag racing, frankly, Top Eliminator Club. If you're going to go the whole thing. I'm glad I don't have social media platforms. It doesn't sound fun. It can be. We'll be back. No, you won't. It was NHRA Low Zone. You won't be back. We should just have Life's a Drag segment on WFO, Jason. We should just do that. Which I would be up for. Love the Bandamere sign behind you. Any word on the Bandamere family status of a new venue? Yes, they are working on it. And it's real. It's not just something to say. They're really working on it. And I even say to them, I admire you guys. Because you're serious about this, getting back into it, huh? They're very serious. You're not just going to go hang out on the beach. Nope. They're serious. Loved what Tasca said. Facts are facts. One final note. This is the first winter show of the 2025 season. Our YouTube channel, WFO Radio TV. WFO Radio TV. We're trying to grow that deal. We're getting close on a nice little milestone for subscribers. I'll tell you, 5,000. As much as the majority of people still listen on the audio-only podcast, I'm happy about 5,000. It wasn't that long ago. We were at 500. So help us get over the threshold. That would be wonderful. Project Pontiac raced at Gainesville Raceway at the Baby Gators. It did not go as well as Orlando. First round out, 39 reaction time, 2,000 short. Chasing him down, stayed with it, tried to push the throttle pedal through the floorboard, and came up 2,000 short. Lost first round. Bringing to an end chapter 1 of the saga of Project Pontiac. The dyno test, the build, the dyno test, the thrash to make the race, making the second race. And now it's timeout time. Timeout. I don't know when we're going to race it again. I got to go to the New England Nationals on top of South Georgia Motorsports Park. There's a bunch of stuff. From what I understand, IHRA did buy Darlington. So I don't know what's real and what's fakes, but I can tell you that it was so amazing having so many fans come up to me and talk to me about Me, the race car, the Project Pontiac, the build, the people who helped me, my reaction times, what super street racing is, how much the car weighed, people wearing t-shirts. It is a shocking development in my little insignificant life. Oh my goodness. So much fun to be out there and racing in the Lucas Oil Series. And driving home in a raging downpour, I'm thinking to myself, this is what drag racing is all about. I know more about the racing experience now than I did 3 weeks ago. Because you can talk about digging a trench. Man, it's really hard to dig a trench. Digging a trench will wear you out. But then you start digging and you're in the trench. And then you have a new appreciation for the words you might have spoken. Like, man, this is brutal. And it really was tough. Of course, it's fun and it's a labor of love and it's passion. But at the same time, it was tough. But we had a blast. And most importantly, thank you to my fellow racers for the support and the attaboy. Because we did put a lot of effort into it. And thanks to our supporters, obviously Foggett and Summit Racing Equipment and Fuel Factory and everybody who helped out, Mickey Thompson Tires, everybody that helped out get me to the track, FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Edelbrock, Wilson Manifolds, all of these people helped me get back to the track, to get that little taste, an understanding of what it's like to stage up on a Pro Tree with a car that I towed to the racetrack and worked on. And we had some challenges. Car didn't shift one round. Figured it out, though. So we'll be back. There is a playlist on our YouTube channel called Project Pontiac, where our videos will slowly be uploaded. And hopefully you can check them out and you'll follow along. Can I get some WFO stickers? Yes, you can send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. That information is up on our website. Go to the, I think the About section, somewhere on there. You can get WFO stickers. You just got to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. Did they have a baby gator trophy? I love the big gator trophy. Right. Why can't we have a small golden gator for the winner of the baby gators? That's an interesting idea. All right. You're back to even, Truthbot. Forget the 8th mile thing. You're back to even. I love it. You loans Freiberger were awesome. I love Freiberger's Steve Evans ask questions when he was at the end of the track. Blunt and to the point, what we wanted to know about. I agree. Well, I think Freiberger has got a great advantage, and it's gravitas. He comes in with his own audience, and he can say something that might anger a drag racer, but they got to answer it because he's Freiberger. It's a different position to be in, and I love it. I thought he did a great job. His next race is Pomona. We're going to keep recycling the team, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, Joe. I'll ask my parents to let me become a member of the Top Eliminator Club at a race that you're going to go to the full event. It's the best deal going today. Woo! Have a great day, Joe. Milliken fan in Michigan says thank you. And thank you all. Get yourself some WFO merch, guys. Wait for it to be on sale, though, of course. Project Pontiac t-shirts, the Miami Hollywood Speedweird t-shirts, Morris Motorsports. Fire! Will we ever have jet cars again at the NHRA? That is a question. Hey, Patreons, there will be a new Hear It From Heiner Pro Stock show. There's 2 episodes already. Rob Downing, deep dive interview, Tim Freeman from Team Elite, not related to the Freemans. Great stuff. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And just so happy that we were able to get back on track. Thanks to Chad Green. Thanks to everyone who was involved in this show. We'll see you next week. WFO.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.